So we had started AC chapter yesterday, and we will continue that discussion today. Yesterday we studied that in AC, everything is variable. I'll just have a quick revision of what we studied yesterday, very quick revision. So imagine I'm taking a very simple AC circuit. At this moment, I'm taking a simple resistive circuit connected to an AC source. Connected to an AC source. AC source symbol is like this. Okay, this is a simple resistive circuit. So purely resistive circuit, pure resistive circuit. Actually, slowly we will introduce some complexity also, like we will introduce a capacitor here, that will be RC circuit. Then we will introduce an inductor there, that will be LR circuit. Now don't say that, sir, we already know RC circuit, we already know LR circuit. Of course you know, but you know what? You know RC circuit connected to a DC source. There is a very big difference. So there is this resistance and capacitance. This is the RC circuit. If you connect it with a DC source means battery, then this is called RC circuit connected to a DC source. Now, if we replace this battery by an AC source, then now this circuit is completely different. It is completely different. Even though it is still the RC circuit, but connected to an AC source, the behavior of this circuit, you have no idea what it will be. You don't know at all. We have not studied it. Same thing goes with the LR also. So if there is a resistance and there is an inductor, it is LR circuit. Now connected to an DC source, that means battery, we know what will happen. Current will slowly and slowly grow. In fact, the current graph will be like this. Okay, we know it. But if you replace the DC source by an AC source, now it is the same LR circuit, but it is very, very different. It is completely different from this. Now this will not be the current time graph and all that. We have no idea how will this circuit behave, because we have not studied yet. So in this chapter of AC, we will study RC circuit, we will study LR circuit, we will then study LCR circuit. But these things, even though RC circuit name looks like we have already studied it, but no, we have not studied it. We have studied RC circuit for a DC, connected to a DC source. We have studied LR circuit connected to a DC source, not connected to an AC source. So this will be very new for us. Okay. So let me come back. Well, as of now, we don't know too much about AC. Frankly, we have just started. So as of now, we will stick ourselves to a simple resistive circuit. So pure resistive circuit. So here there is a resistor and there is a AC source. This we call AC source. Yesterday, I showed you how this AC source behaves. It is not a constant voltage source. Here the voltage or the EMF, whatever you call it, it varies continuously. In fact, there is a sinusoidal variation. Okay, so at a general time t, at a general time t, if we draw this diagram, at that moment, suppose this is the positive terminal and this is the negative terminal, but it will not always remain the positive terminal. And at this moment, the instantaneous voltage is V0 sine omega t. Yesterday I was saying up to this, but you know, there may be some initial phase also. What is this phi called? This phi is not phase, it is initial phase. So this is the initial phase. I mean, sorry, this is the instantaneous voltage between these two ends. Now, of course, a current will flow. Now, why am I showing the direction of the current this way? Well, because actually, so it will keep on varying. So why am I showing this way? Because at this time, when you had taken this photograph, at that time, this was the positive terminal and this was the negative terminal, and hence the current would be flowing in this direction at that time. So whatever I'm writing in this diagram, it is valid only for that time at which this photograph was taken. So this will be the instantaneous current. Now, yesterday I told you that there are 4 types of currents and 4 types of voltages. One is instantaneous current, and we represent it with the symbol small I. If you wish, you can write inst, but many of the times we don't write inst, we simply write small I. A small letter automatically means variable. So this is instantaneous current. Then this is peak current. Peak means, like for example, in this voltage, this is the voltage equation. This is the peak value. Similarly, when we write the current equation, it will again be a sinusoidal function. And whatever is the amplitude of that function, that is called peak value. Okay. Then there is average value of this current. And then there is RMS value of this current. Now, RMS value is the most important value. Out of these 4 currents, RMS is the most important. And I will show you why RMS is the most important. As time progresses, as we slowly start learning things, you will yourself realize why RMS is so important. Don't worry. Now, RMS is so important that, in fact, we don't even write the word RMS. We simply write capital I. When you write capital I, it automatically means RMS current. When you write a small I, it means instantaneous current. When you write I naught, it means peak current. And I average, well, nobody writes it because it is the most worthless, most useless quantity, because its value is always 0. Yesterday, I showed it to you that the average value of the current is always 0 in AC because it's a sine function, and sine function, for half of the time period, sine function is positive. For the other half, the sine function is negative. So when you calculate the average value, it will always be 0. So that is why this is the most worthless quantity. And in fact, it is so useless that we don't even we write it. So there are 3 types of currents. Instead of 4 types, we'll say 3 types now: instantaneous, peak, and RMS. Now, similarly, there are 3 types of voltages: instantaneous, which is written by with the letters small v. And here, if you wish, you can write inst. But even if you don't write inst, and if you write a small letter v, it automatically means instantaneous voltage. And then there is this peak voltage. And then there is this RMS voltage. RMS is so important that we don't even write RMS. We simply write capital V. Okay. So this all we have studied yesterday. There is nothing new. I told you till now, nothing new has been taught to you. Now today, we are going to learn how to find RMS. Okay. Now here, current will be, now that I have drawn this diagram, let me just write few things, although it's not really so important because we have already done it yesterday. So here current will be instantaneous current is equal to instantaneous voltage divided by this resistance. Ohm's law. Okay. Now, instantaneous voltage is V naught, capital V naught. See, this is instantaneous. Sine of omega t, and plus phi may be there. In fact, you can put this phi to be 0 also, so that you don't have to write this. But in general, the phi may be there. And divided by the resistance. Okay. Now, so we write it like V naught by capital R sine of omega t plus phi. Now this V naught by capital R, we write it as I naught sine of omega t plus phi. So here in this equation, I is equal to I naught sine of omega t plus phi. What is this I? Okay. What is this I? Just a second. What is this I naught? What is this omega? What is this phi? All those things we are going to write. This I is instantaneous current. Instantaneous current. This I naught is called peak current. Can you tell me what is this omega called? Anybody? Come on, tell me what is this omega called?
Angular frequency.
Angular frequency. Exactly. Angular frequency. Now I'll talk about this angular frequency in a moment. This phi is called initial phase or phase constant. Okay. Now first few important things. First thing is few important things. First thing is that the angular frequency and frequency relation. You know it because recently in LC circuit we studied it. So yeah, but one of the important thing one factual thing I'd like to tell you, the frequency, you know, omega is 2 pi f, so that is not a problem. I will write that, but that is not a problem. This f is frequency. Frequency means what? Frequency means that in 1 second, how many times the current direction changes. See, if this is your RC circuit, let me go up. This is the RC circuit. Here, the direction of the current will keep changing like this and this and this and this, clockwise, anti-clock, clockwise, anti-clock, clockwise, anti-clock, clockwise. It will keep on changing. Do you know that the fact is that this change in current happens very fast. The frequency of AC source that we use in our day-to-day life is 50 hertz, 50 hertz. In some countries, 60 hertz AC is used. But standard frequency is 50 hertz. So the AC that is coming to your house, that AC has a frequency of 50 hertz. That means in 1 second, the direction of the current changes 50 times. Okay. So it's a very fast frequency. It's a very fast change. And if you draw this diagram, yesterday we drew this diagram, now which graph? I versus T or V versus T, whatever. Okay. We know that the graph looks like this because it's a sine graph. In 1 second, you know how many of these will be there? 50 of this. So actually this will be pretty closed spaced. It will be like this, very close. It will not be so far. Okay. So frequency of AC worldwide is a constant, and that is 50 hertz. So that is what I am going to write. Frequency of AC used. Okay, this AC, some people can write small letter, some people write capital letter. There is no particular rule for that. Okay. So frequency of AC used worldwide worldwide in all countries, worldwide is either 50 hertz, or in some countries 60 hertz AC is also used. This is a fact. Now, but standard is 50 hertz. So if in a certain question, suppose the examiner forgot to give you the value of frequency, you can take it as 50 hertz. Now, angular frequency, omega, as you know, it is 2 pi f. So standard value of omega will be 2 pi into 50 hertz. That means 100 pi radian per second. Okay. Normally, you will observe that in all questions, the value of omega, or rather the value of frequency, normally will be given to you. But sometimes the examiner may forget. So in that case, you are free to take 50 hertz as the frequency. Because this is the fact. Everywhere in the country, everywhere in the world, people use alternating current of 50 hertz frequency only, except few countries where 60 hertz is used. Now you can actually go back, go to your house. In fact, you are already at your house. And after the class, you can check your appliances, like fridge is there. Freeze, I mean the air conditioners, the microwave oven, whatever electrical device you have, you can check there. The rating will be written somewhere at the back of it, 220 volts, comma 50 hertz. It will be written like this. That means that particular appliance, maybe that is a phrase, it is, you have to use that phrase at a 220 volt source, AC source, and the frequency of that AC source should be 50 hertz only. In fact, nowadays, the devices that are being built, like AC and fridge and other things, they have a range 50 to 60 hertz. So they will work till 60 hertz. They have been made in such a manner. Okay. Okay, fine. So this was an interesting fact. Now, second thing is, that what is the phase? What do you mean by the phase? Phase, the entire angle within sine function is called phase. The entire angle, I think I have already told you this in one of the classes, but it is so important that I have to repeat it many a times. The entire angle within sine function, is called phase. So that means phase is omega t plus phi. That is the phase. Okay. Phi is not phase. Phi is initial phase. In fact, I have seen majority of the students, when I ask them, tell me what is phi, they'll say, sir, phase, sir, phase. Phi is not phase. This entire thing is called phase. The entire angle within sine function is called phase. Phi is initial phase, because when you put t equal to 0, the phase will become phi. So that means phi is the phase at t equal to 0. That means phi is the initial phase, because t equal to 0 is the initial time. Okay, so this is a few things. Now, third thing is, here in this equation, can you see anywhere RMS written? No, peak is written. Peak current is there. Instantaneous current is there, but RMS current is not there. But out of all the three types, as I said earlier, RMS is the most important. How to find RMS? Okay. In fact, by default, RMS value is, okay, I'll talk about that later. How to find RMS value. So we are going to learn this very important thing. In fact, today's entire class will be based on this only. How to find RMS value. Now I'm going to teach you this taking current as my example, but the same thing will be valid for voltage also. Well, RMS means root mean square. We all know it, root mean square. In order to find RMS, first step is square the quantity. Square the quantity. Like you want to find RMS value of the current, so square the current. Step 2 is find mean. By the way, mean means average of the squared quantity of the squared quantity. And the third step is finally underroot it. Finally underroot it. Underroot it means find the square root of it. Okay. So capital I RMS, even though you don't have to write RMS, but here I'm writing. What will you do? Take this instantaneous current. Take the instantaneous current, then you find the square of that. You see, square the current. Then you find the mean of that. Now, you know, mean is written like this. I think this symbol you must have seen somewhere. This symbol is used to find average. This symbol means average. So in my classroom, suppose there are 60 students and I want to find average height. So how will I say? I can say it that find height average. I can say like this, or I can simply say find height this. This is the average. This means average. I think yesterday only I talked about it. So here we don't want to find average current. No, because that will be 0. We want to square the current and then find the average. That's what I'm doing. Square the current, then find the average. And finally, underroot it. So this is the way you will find RMS. I'll show you, I'll do the calculation. But now how to find average of a function? Now this is pure mathematics, and I want to show you my mathematical knowledge a little bit. Oh my God, what did I draw? So now I'll show you a little bit of my mathematical knowledge on this side of the page. Average of a function. Are you studying definite integral at this moment in your mathematics class? Indefinite integral or definite integral?
Definite, sir.
Definite. Area under graph, have you studied area under curve? No, after this area under curve will come. So there you will study this thing, what I am going to teach you now. Average of a function. Okay, so suppose this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, and suppose a function looks like this. This is the graph of f of x versus x. Now I want to find the average of this function between this point and this point. This point is suppose x equal to x1 and this point is x equal to x2. I want to find average of this function. You'll notice that here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. Here the value of the function is this much. So all those values, the function first decreased and then increased. So the value of the function first decreased and then increased within this range x1 to x2. I want to find the average value. Now you can just graze this graph and you can guess that somewhere the average of this function, see the lowest value of this function is this is the lowest, and this is the highest value of this function within this range. So the average will lie somewhere over here. So this will be the average value of the function, this one. But that is guess. You can't really guess it like this. You have to find the average value. So to find the average value of the function, the method is this, that you find this area, okay, the area of this graph you find, and then divide it by this interval. This interval is what? This interval is x2 minus x1. So this area, you divide it by this interval. So this is the function, and this is the average value of the function. So just a second. Let me bring it up a little below. Yeah. So it will be equal to what? It will be equal to area under the graph divided by the interval. Which interval? The interval in which you want to find the average. So here the interval is x2 minus x1. So you can also write it like this. Let me, yeah, you can also write it like this, that this is equal to area under graph can be written as integral of f of x dx from x1 to x2, and then divided by the interval x2 minus x1. This will give you the average value of the function. Any problem? Okay. So now we have to find average. So let's find RMS value of a sinusoidal. RMS value of a sinusoidal AC current. With the knowledge that you have just now acquired, the instantaneous value of current is I naught sine of omega t. I can take plus phi or I can ignore plus phi, because that plus phi frankly doesn't matter that much. Okay, well, it matters a lot. That phi is not really a worthless quantity, but here finding average, that phi will not be so important. So what will be the value of, so first step one, what does it say? It says square it. So square it. What will be the square of it? It will be, of course, this is childish step, I naught square sine square omega t. Now step two is find the average of the square. Now I will also draw a graph here. So this was current versus time graph, and suppose the graph was like this. Okay, this is one time period, this is two time period. Now I want to draw another graph, but this graph is not current versus time graph. This graph is current square versus time graph. So what will happen? What will happen is that this part of the graph, this part which was negative, when you square it, it will become positive. And similarly, this part, when it was negative, when you square it, it will become positive. Okay, clear? So this was the time period, this will be the two time period, and so on. Now, so I want you to understand this. That's why I drew this graph like this. Any problem? Now how will you find the average of it? Well, as I just now told you, to find the average, what you will do, we want to find average up to time t. See, whatever will be the average during one half of the one cycle, same will be the average during the next cycle or next time period. So we want to find average during one time period. So what will we do? We will integrate it 0 to capital T and divide it by capital T minus 0. Let me show it to you. This is exactly what I wrote here. If you want to find average of this function, you will integrate that function from x1 to x2, because we want to find average during this interval of x1 to x2, and you will divide it by the same interval x2 minus x1. So here we want to find the average from 0 to t. In fact, my logic says that whatever will be the average from 0 to t by 2, same will be the average from 0 to t also. So actually you can shorten your interval. You can find the average from 0 to t by 2 and then divided by t by 2 minus 0, because this function has actually, the time period of this function has become t by 2 by squaring it. Earlier the period was t, but now the period has halved. Have you studied periodic function in your maths class? Come on.
Yes.
Yeah, so this thing you might be knowing already. But anyway, even though we can find the time, we can find the average up to t by 2, that will also give you the same answer, but I will stick to t, doesn't matter. So let's do this. Let's do this. So you will have 1 by capital T integration of I square dt. I square is how much? It is I naught square sine square omega t, and then of course dt. Now I naught square will come outside because it's a constant. So I naught square is outside and divided by capital T. And by the way, now I'll put the value of capital T as 2 pi by omega. You know, capital T is how much? 2 pi by omega. Okay. So this I naught square has come outside. Now we have integration of simply sine square omega t dt from 0 to capital T. That means 0 to 2 pi by omega. Now I'll do this integration. You know how to integrate sine square x dx? Do you know how to integrate sine square x dx? Of course you must be knowing. The only way to integrate is to get rid of this power 2. How to get rid of this power 2? By doubling this angle. Use the double angle formula. Okay. So what do? We say that 1 minus cos 2x by 2 is nothing but sine square x. Am I correct? Or is it 1 plus cos 2x? You have to tell me. I may be wrong.
Correct.
Correct, na? Okay. If I want to check whether I'm correct or not, what I'll do, I will write cos 2x as cos square x minus sine square x. Everybody knows it. This much I also know. Even though my maths is not really that good nowadays, I have forgotten many things from maths. But this much I still remember, that cos 2x is cos square x minus sine square x. And now 1 minus cos square x can be written as sine square x, this part, and this is plus now, plus sine square x, because this minus and this minus has become plus. So now this is 2 sine square x divided by 2, so sine square x. So you see, I was correct. Yeah, I was correct. Good. So yeah, so this is the only way to do it. And now take 1 by 2 common, and integration of 1 dx is x minus cos 2x dx is sine 2x by 2. This is the integration, plus arbitrary constant c will be there. Integration constant c will be there. So similarly, let's do this. So here omega I naught square by 2 pi. Now this step which I'm showing you is actually very important step. There are many questions based on these steps. Okay, so pay attention. Okay, here sine square omega t I will write as 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. Yes.
Is it not a half of x plus sine 2x by 2, sir?
No, cos 2x integration is sine 2x.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is fine. Now I'll put the limit at the end. Every time I don't want to write the limit, it takes a lot of time and space also. There is a limit 0 to 2 pi by omega. I'll write that later on. Okay, okay. Now here this 2 I am taking outside. So now integration of 1t will be simply t minus integration of cos 2 omega t will be sine 2 omega t divided by 2 omega, because the coefficient of t is not just 2, it is 2 omega this time. And now it's time to put the value of limit 0 to 2 pi by omega. So omega naught, omega I naught square. You know, I naught is what? I naught is peak current by 2 pi into 2. Yeah, I could have written 4 pi also. Okay, now let's put upper limit. So 2 pi by omega minus 0. Here I put t minus this, and then minus of, here again I will put upper limit minus lower limit. So 1 by 2 omega I have taken common. Sine of 2 omega into 2 pi by omega minus sine of 0. Is that clear? Omega I naught square by 4 pi, 2 pi by omega, and then minus 1 by 2 omega. Now, can you tell me how much is this? This is sine of 4 pi. You know, sine of 4 pi is how much? Everybody knows it. Yeah, absolutely. So this entire thing is actually 0. Okay. So, and by the way, what we are finding till now, okay, I'll write at the end of it what we are finding. So this is, and this will get cancelled with this will get cancelled with this. So you'll have I naught square by 2. Can you see? This pi will get cancelled, omega will get cancelled, and 2 will be there. So what we are finding? We are finding step 2, this part. So we have found, see, first what we did, this instantaneous current, we squared it. Then we found the average during one time interval. Now finally step 3, under root it. So I RMS, well, actually there is no need to write RMS. When you use capital I, it automatically means RMS, but here I'm using it. Finally you under root it. You under root this quantity. So under root of I naught square by 2. So that means I naught by under root 2. So this is the result. The result is for any, let me now write the result. Very important result is there. For any sinusoidal function, okay, now whether that function is current or voltage or something else. Here we took current as an example and we found it. What did we get? We got RMS value is equal to peak value by root 2. Peak value by root 2. See, RMS current is peak current by root 2. Is that clear? Not clear? What is the problem? Can't you see RMS value is peak value by root 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can say that capital I, which is RMS, is equal to capital I naught by root 2, and capital V, which means RMS voltage. Now I'm not using the letter R, the word RMS. I'm just writing capital V. It automatically means you have to get used to it. Okay. You have to get used to it that when you use capital letter, it automatically means RMS value. So it will be peak value by root 2. This is of course valid because this current and this voltage were sinusoidal function. That is why it was valid. Okay. But this is valid only for sinusoidal AC, which is actually the reality because in our household, we get sinusoidal AC. Valid for sinusoidal AC. Now, I can give you a question where the AC is not sinusoidal. Let me show you how. See, this question which I'm giving you, it is actually not a very practical question because practically, oh my God, what am I doing? Yeah. So let me draw a graph. This graph I'm drawing, this graph is current versus time graph. And this graph is like a triangular function. I want to just a sec. Here and then yeah. This why am I not able to match it? Now I'm able to match it. Yeah. Now this part, not this entire part, only this part. I want to copy and paste like this. Can you see this is an AC? But this time you'll notice that this function is not like this. It is triangular. Okay. Okay. Now, this is one time period. This is the peak value of this current. The peak value is I naught. So find RMS current. Find RMS current and also average current. And also average current for the function for the function shown. So for this function, find it. Can you do it? You know the steps. You know the steps. I would suggest at least put some effort. You know the steps. The steps are, let me show it to you. What was the first step? First step was square the function. Second was the only lengthy step. Here you wanted to find average. And finding average means, you know what? You need to do some integration and divide it by that interval. You will get the average. I already showed you average of a function is found which way. This you will learn even in your mathematics class in area under graph. Or maybe in definite integral itself you will learn. Now this time it is not a sinusoidal function. If it was, see, had it been a sinusoidal function, it would have been like this, no? But that's not the case. It is triangular function. We call it triangular function, but the name doesn't matter. You can call it anything. Just find the RMS value and also the average value. So give it a try. I am sure you can do it. If you try hard enough, you will be able to do it. Yes.
This average current I naught.
So let me solve it now. I'll copy this diagram first. And first I will find the easier thing, which is average. Average current. Now this time average will not be 0. So capital I AV, or you can simply say small I with this symbol, because that also means average. Okay. Okay. Now this will not be 0 because this function is always positive. You know, if this function was something like this, if I change this function, imagine that I'm changing this function now like this. Okay, like this. Then you see from here till here, yeah, this will be one time period. Here till here, half of the time it would be positive and half of the time it will be negative. So the average will cancel out and you will get 0 as the average. But here the situation is different because there is, yeah, because there is no negative. Now, for a linear function, listen carefully. For a linear function, it is very easy to guess. For a linear function, it is very easy to guess that the average will be exactly at the middle. I'll give you a few more examples. Just for example, suppose there was a function y versus x. And this line was, straight line was like this. Suppose at this point, x equal to 1, the value of y was, let's say 4. And at this point, x equal to 3, suppose the value of y was, let's say 9. Let's say, I'm saying let's say, okay? Yeah, sorry, not here. Sorry, not here. I mean, here. At x equal to 1, y is 4. And at x equal to 3, y is 9. So what will be the average during this interval? Here, the value of the function at x equal to 1 was 4 and at x equal to 3 was 9. Let's say, I'm saying let's say, okay, I don't know what will be the. So the average, and the function is a linear function. Can you see a linear function? Though the average will be exactly at the middle. So in between 4 and 9, what lies exactly at the middle? 6.5. 6.5 lies exactly at the middle, because from 6.5, if you subtract 2.5, you will get 4. And if you add 2.5, you will get 9. Very simple. So 6.5 will be the average because it was a linear function. But if I keep the everything else same, but I change the function like this. So now it is no more average, sorry, no more linear. It is, let's say, a quadratic function or any other thing than linear, anything other than linear. Now the average will not necessarily lie exactly at the middle. Okay. So let me come back to this. This is a linear function. You see, from here to here, we have a linear graph. Here the value of current is 0, and here the value of current is I0. Average will lie exactly at the middle, which will be I0 by 2. I0 by 2 from here to here. Similarly, from here to here, average will be exactly at the middle. Similarly, from here to here, average will be exactly at the middle. Okay. But so you could have actually guessed it only because it was a linear function. If it was not a linear one, there is no way you can guess. Now what I'll do is I'll calculate average for this interval only, for only t by 2, even though capital T is written here, but I'll do you agree that whatever will be the average of this function during this interval, same will be the average during this interval, and same will be the average during this interval, and same will be the average during this interval? Do you agree with that? I think you should. So see, there are many ways of doing it, but I will find average from x equal to 0 to capital T by 2, and I will say that, okay, here you can find the average just by finding this area. Find the area using the triangle, using the triangle formula. half into base into height and divided by the time interval, you will get the average, which will be I naught by 2, but I will do it with a proper mathematical way. So what will be the equation of this? Equation of this graph will be what? What will be the equation of this? It will be y equal to mx plus c. So I equal to mx, here y is I, x is t, and c is 0 because the graph passes through the, you see. So how much is that? M, what is the slope? Slope will be, let's say this is theta, so tan theta will be this by t by 2. So I naught by t by 2 into small t. So I equal to 2 I naught by capital T into small t. This is the function. Is that fine? What happened to this suddenly? I am doing it mathematically. Actually, though, we have already found the answer. But I am trying to do it mathematically. Okay. So we have found the current. Now this time, do we have to square it? No, sir, because this is not RMS. This is just direct average. RMS is also a type of average, but that is not direct average. That is average after squaring. Here we have to just find the average. So I average will be integral of I dt from where to where. As I said, I will find average only during this interval. And I will say that whatever is the average during this interval, same will be the average during this interval, and so on. So capital T by 2 and divided by capital T by 2 minus 0. You see, there was no need of it. Average, we can directly guess that it will be right in the middle. Or you can find this total area using the area formula, half into base into height and divided by the time interval. But I am doing it with a mathematical way so that you become more comfortable. Okay. So 2 by capital T, and this is and in place of small I will write that 2 I naught by capital T into small t and into dt. So this is your into dt. This is small I into dt, I dt. Okay. So 2 by capital T, and then this constant will come outside, 2 I naught by capital T, and then you will have integration of t dt from 0 to capital T by 2. So you have 4 I naught by capital T square, and then this will be t square by 2. You know, we all of us know that t dt integral will be this, and then 0 to capital T by 2. So that will be 4 I naught by capital T square into capital T by 2 square by 2. Okay. Okay. So 4 I naught by capital T square into capital T square by 8, because this is 1 by 4, and then so how much you are getting? You are getting I naught by 2. See, this will get cancelled out. This will get cancelled out. So you got I average as this. This is the answer, which anyway we had guessed it. Now let's come to the second part. You know why I solved it using this lengthy method? Because for the second part, you will realize why we did it. Now we have to find actual RMS current. So let me copy this. And bring it here. Okay. Now we have to find RMS current. Okay, so here, oh my God, what did I do? Here I would like to draw two graphs. One is this current versus time graph. Is that fine? Can you see current versus time graph? It will be exactly same like this. But second graph I will draw, that will be current square versus time t graph. Now see, if it was an exam, I wouldn't have done so much of hard work. I would have gotten the answer much more quickly, but this is not an exam. This is time to learn. We are learning things. We are not really trying to, do it very fast. So this second graph, it will completely change here. These things will change now. Yeah. The second graph is what graph? It is not current versus time graph. It is current square versus time graph. So from 0 to t, if it was a straight line, when you will square it, will it remain a straight line? See, this was a straight line. Will it remain a straight line when you square it? No, sir. No, sir. It will turn into a quadratic line like this. And then from here to here, again, it was a straight line, but when you square it, it will become like this. And again, like this, like this. When you square it, it doesn't remain straight, na? It will become parabolic, quadratic. Basically, quadratic means parabolic. What will be the maximum value of this? It will not be I naught, it will be I naught square. And that's common, that's obvious. Okay. Now, what will be the equation of this? What will be the equation of this? See, the equation of this was this. You just square it. So it will be how much? It will be 4 I naught square by capital T square into small t square. We are squaring it, man. We are simply squaring it. Any problem? Okay. So this is the equation of this branch, by the way. This branch will have slightly different equation. It will also be a quadratic function, but it will be slightly different. So whatever I have written here, this is the equation of this branch. And this branch is enough because we will find average or RMS only from here till here. And we'll say whatever is the average or RMS for this, same will be the RMS for this and so on. So now, I square, oh my God, I square average, what will be that? It will be integration of 0 to capital T by 2, I square dt divided by capital T by 2 minus 0. So 2 by capital T, because this capital T by 2 will become 2 by capital T, integration of 0 to capital T by 2, and then I square will be 4 I naught square by capital T square into small t square. Okay, are you able to understand? So 2 by capital T, 4 I naught square by capital T square will come outside. And then T, oh my God, dt I forgot to write. I square dt was there. No? So integration of T square dt will be T cube by 3. And of course, you have to put limit 0 to capital T by 2. Okay. So 8 I naught square, you see, 4 to the 8 I naught square by capital T cube, this much, into here in place of small t, I'm going to put the upper limit cube divided by 3 and minus 0 because lower limit is 0. So 8 I naught square by capital T cube, and now this will be T cube by 8 into 3. Okay, T cube by 8 into 3. So many things will get cancelled out. Let me see what all got cancelled out. This 8 got cancelled out. This T cube got cancelled out. So you are left with I naught square by 3. Is that fine? Okay. Now finally, IRMS will be under root of, first square it, then mean it, and then under root it. So this mean we have already found, I naught square by 3, and we have to just now under root it. Okay. So what did we got? What did we get? We got I naught by root 3. This is the answer. Okay, this is the answer. Any problem?
No, sir. No, sir.
So the average part, see this, the average current, there was no need of doing this, all these steps, because you could have guessed it already. In fact, you already did it. Okay. But why did I do it this way? Because I wanted to show you that if you do it in a proper mathematical way, then finding RMS will be easy. Actually, in this question, actually, this was the question, and here in the original question, there was no mention of average current. There was simply find RMS current. That's it. No average. Find RMS current, because average anybody can find. Just by glancing at the graph, one can see that the average will be exactly at the middle. So the question was just find RMS. I mean, no average, because average anybody can find. So find RMS. Here I gave both of you, both of these to you, so that you know that the method works for everything. Okay. Now one last question, and this is very simple. This question which I'm about to give you is actually something which you can answer just by glancing at the graph. Okay. So let me draw that graph first. Let me draw that graph. So here is our x-axis. Here is our y-axis. Okay. Yeah. And this time, just for a change, I'm writing voltage. See, you don't have to always write current. Voltage. And the function is this way. The function is this. From here to, oh my God, why am I drawing the arrow one? I don't want arrow. Yeah, the function is this. Okay. This is the function. Of course, it's symmetrical. This is one capital T. This is another capital T. And of course, it keeps on going like this. This is capital V naught, and this will be minus capital V naught. Find RMS voltage. Do it. Okay. So this is actually a very simple question. Just by glancing at the graph, you can actually find it. First of all, can I ask you something? What will be the average current? What average voltage?
0, sir.
0. Yeah, average will be 0, because here itself, if I want to show you, this is one time period. So we have to just focus from here till here because the other things are just copied. So for half of the time period, voltage is positive. So this area will be positive. And for the other half of the time period, voltage is negative. So this area will be negative. So the average voltage will be this total area divided by the time period. And total area will be 0. So average voltage will be 0. Because anyway, logically, you see half of the time voltage is positive, half of the time voltage is negative. So that is why average is not asked, RMS is asked. Now this time, so for RMS, what is the first step? First step is to square. Okay, first step is to square. So let us square the function and draw a graph for it. So solution. Let us square the function and draw graph. So when we draw graph, I will copy this diagram. I had drawn this diagram with so much of hard work. I don't want to do that hard work again. So I have copied it. Okay. Yeah. Now I need to make few changes. The first change I will make is that this is not V graph. This is V square graph versus time. Okay. Things will change. What will change is that this voltage will be a little above, because this will not be V0, this will become V0 square. Okay. Now from here to here, this is nothing. This is just a line joining this point and this point. What will happen to this part? Well, it is minus V0, but when you square it, it will become positive. So from here to here. See? Is that right or not? And then this will also become here to here. And this will become, it was negative, but it will become positive. Like this. So the entire graph will become a straight line. This was the one time period. This was the 2t time period. I mean, had I written 2t? No, there was a mistake. I should have written 2t here because this is capital T, this is 2 capital T. Anyway, so this is it. This is your graph. How simple. When you square it, it becomes like this. And of course, now there is no need of writing this part. Okay. So we can say that V square, I mean, what happened? Yeah. The instantaneous voltage square is nothing but V0 square all the time. It's a straight line graph, and that too straight line is a horizontal straight line. That means a constant graph. So what will be the average? Average of V square, that is V square average. Well, since it's a constant function, for a constant function, the average is that very thing. Now, what will be the RMS? That is capital V. It will be, now you have to just underroot it. This instantaneous voltage, you squared it, you found the average. Now, finally, you have to underroot it. So V0 square under root. That means V0. This is the answer. So for a rectangular function, by the way, this is called rectangular function. This type of function, one calls it rectangular function. Rectangular function. For a rectangular function, RMS value is same as peak value. For a triangular function, this was for triangular function. You see, this is not triangular because we have already squared it, but when we had not squared it, it was a triangular function. So for a triangular function, RMS value will be peak value by √3. For a sinusoidal function, For a sinusoidal function?
Peak value by root 2.
Yeah. See, and whatever things we did today, we studied triangular function, rectangular function, but they are not practical. Practically, the AC that we get in our household are sinusoidal function. And for a sinusoidal function, RMS is equal to peak by root 2. Whether you call it current or voltage, by root 2. They have a fixed relation like this for sinusoidal function. For triangular function, RMS is peak by root 3. But that triangular function is just for our study purpose. It is not practical. Okay. So that's it. As I told you in the beginning of the class, today we will learn how to find RMS values, and we have learned how to find RMS. Now from the next class, we will start studying all types of circuits like RC circuit, LR circuit, and all those things. Okay, bye-bye. Done for the day.